I literally have no more colors in this top, so this has to be the last part of this series, the best skincare I've tried in 2024 so far. Hey everyone, welcome back to SheriApproved. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new, welcome. I'm Sheri, a licensed skincare consultant, but a lover of all things beauty. And if you're already a part of the SheriApproved family, thank you so much for clicking on today's video. I hope you guys have been enjoying this series so far, where I have really been going through my collection, the things that I started using this year, testing out, etc. Really putting my thoughts together to really pick the best products that I've tried and things that may not necessarily only be applicable to my skin, but products that I think may be applicable to many people with different issues. And of course, we've been discussing that as we go along. So this is part 4 and the last installment in this series until the end of the year, where I'll just add on to this list. And as you may have realized, I have been doing this by brand, and I think today we have about 6 brands to cover. So let's get right into it. The first brand is Nivea, and this one is actually Japanese, although most of the brands that I have been discussing is Korean, but we kind of stick into the whole Asian theme. And this is actually a sunscreen, and this has honestly become one of my favorite sunscreens to use this year. This is the Nivea UV Super Water Gel X SPF 50 plus, PA4 pluses. This is what it looks like, and there is also a water essence X version of this, and I have used both of these. Like, I completed this tube. You can see where this is. This is my 3rd bottle. I just started my 3rd bottle of this one. Both of these formulas are really good, but between both of them, I actually just slightly prefer the gel, and I'll tell you why in a bit. So in actually preparing for this video, I actually read somewhere that this one is actually considered a body sunscreen. I mean, any sunscreen can be used on face or body, of course, just depending on the filters, because for example, there's some UV filters that I absolutely cannot use on my face, but depending on where I'm using on my body, maybe my legs, I could absolutely get away with it. This one actually combines an older filter that we're accustomed to, Octinoxid, with 3 of the newer UV filters that my skin does really well with. Now, they call this a gel sunscreen, and I think it's because of how it really gets into the skin very, very quickly. I love the cooling, refreshing feel on the skin, especially in this hot weather. It literally feels like it's cooling down the skin. It also feels very hydrating and very, very lightweight. I have no issues with any white cast or anything like that with this sunscreen on my skin tone. It blends in very, very quickly. I do apply it in 2 layers simply because that's just habit, but this is a sunscreen that I can absolutely apply in one, and it would not take me very, very long to get it into my skin. It actually has a hydrating toner as part of the formula. So while it's so lightweight, it's actually very, very hydrating. They say a gentle floral fragrance, but it is there. It is there. And the thing is, I have gotten so accustomed to that fragrance now that I don't even smell it. This formula does contain alcohol, so keep that in mind if that's an issue for you. However, this is so far from being dehydrating on my skin. In fact, I find it to be extremely hydrating, and usually when sunscreens tend to have alcohol in them, I might still need to pair with a moisturizer to make sure that my skin is not dehydrated. No issue with this one at all. That hydrating base that they're talking about, it definitely combats any issues with regards to the effects or dehydration of the alcohol in this formula. This one is also a sweat resistant and water resistant sunscreen. And by the way, almost every single thing I'm saying about this one, you could also say about the essence. The main difference between them is the finish. Both of these have glowy finishes on the skin. Yes, I'm oily. Yes, I'm acne prone. However, the essence is just slightly more glowy, not greasy. They are lightweight, but it doesn't feel greasy. So it really just depends on the extent of the glow. They both have that floral fragrance. They both have alcohols in them, but they are also both very hydrating sunscreens. But the reason why this has really become one of my favorites this year is really because of that sweat and water resistance in the formula. Like, I have been sweating like crazy. It's just too hot in Trinidad, just too hot. So I actually very hardly now use regular sunscreens. I will use them if I'm at home. So let's say I go to the gym, I come back, I'm going to be indoors the rest of the day, and I'm not necessarily heading out. That's really how I'm finishing up most of my other sunscreens, because a lot of them haven't been getting love. I have mainly been reaching for sweat and water resistant sunscreens. I mean, it is what it is. And this sunscreen, I really put to the test. I carried this and the Cose one, the Cose gel. Very, very similar. This one is just slightly more lightweight than the Cozy gel as well. I also love that one. I carried both of them to Curacao, and I was using this one a lot because the Cozy had like less in the bottle, right? And when I tell you, I was taking way more sun exposure than I'm accustomed to. And I was also using this to reapply on top of my makeup. You all know how I already do it. I use my sponge, a puff, whatever. I take the liquid and I pat it into my skin. I do it very, very carefully to create as least disruption as possible in terms of on top of my makeup. And I did that. And here what happened. How many of y'all noticed when I did the video on the newer products on Instagram and on TikTok and so on, that my neck was so much darker than my face? It was because I was reapplying the sunscreen on my face and not on my neck during that trip. Actually filmed that right after I came back. And after that video, I was like, OMG. When I tell you, this was protecting my face so well. And I was reapplying on my face and not on my neck. This gives me great protection. I love the sunscreen. Obviously, I wish that it probably had a more matte finish, but I could live with the glow because of what this does for me. The second brand is Numbuzin. I actually don't have it because I already passed it on to my mom. It is another moisturizer, another one that's really, really good for more mature skin types, and that's why I passed it over to her. And that's the Numbuzin number 4 Full Nutrient Firming Cream. I actually did review this product already, so I will include the link where I talked a little bit more about this product. But this particular moisturizer, compared to the others that I would have already talked about in this series, is quite interesting, again because of the mix of the ingredients. So that moisturizer actually has red ginseng, like 6-year-old red ginseng, the good stuff. 39% of that. It also has a special complex ingredient that Numbuzin developed, or I guess their formulators or whoever, and it's called their multi-youth reactivator, and it's especially for skin elasticity. And they also have a bunch of other ingredients like hydrolyzed collagen, idabenone, which is a great antioxidant as well. It has calendula, it has a little bit of retinol. You could still use this cream with your retinol products. And they also have a nanosome, which is one of the things that takes this and makes it a cut outside of some of the other moisturizers that I already mentioned in this series. And that's beside like all the other things we expect to find in there. So there's a little bit of niacinamide and it has the panthenol, etc. But one of the things about this moisturizer that I really like is the dense texture. And that might sound a little bit strange, like, Sherry, you like and dense? Yes. Because especially if you have very dry skin, it is like a type of balmy texture. And at the same time, it's not like Vaseline, but I don't know. Again, it's one of those things, like the texture is something that you need to experience. But even on my oily skin, it is a wonderful night cream. Like, it's going to be very occlusive. If you're experiencing any dryness because you're probably sat in a higher strength retinol or anything like that, this is definitely going to cover you for that. It's one of those types of moisturizers. But yeah, check that video. And this next product from the same brand, Numbuzin, when I first spoke about this toner, everybody started to go crazy. Everybody wanted to buy it. And in fact, it really was having a moment because there was a point in time when you couldn't find it anywhere online. It was sold out everywhere. And that's the Numbuzin Vitamin Boosted Essential Toner, the number 5+. Now, be careful, it's 5+ on the label. They do have another toner by Numbuzin that has like number 5. So that's not the one I'm referring to, okay? This toner is interesting because it's one, again, that can be used by all skin types. And this toner is definitely targeting people who are interested in brightening, hyperpigmentation, dark spots. You want to have a toner to support your overall hyperpigmentation routine. This one was one of my recommendations and a toner that I really, really enjoy for that. I mean, when I tell you that this is a power-packed toner, like, if you're using rose water and think, throw that out. No, throw that out. You want your toner. You really want your toner to be doing something and giving you something in your routine. Like, literally, if you're using this and then you just put on moisturizer, sunscreen, you're good to go. This has niacinamide, vitamin 3 water. It has liposomal glutathione. It has madecassoside. It has ceramides. It has ascorbic acid. It has thioethylescorbic acid. It has arbutin. It has 6 peptides. including a geraldine and matrixyl, again, the peptides that a lot of people tend to look for, but it also contains nonapeptide 1, which is a peptide that specifically works on skin discoloration. The other thing that I love about this toner is you'll remember years and years ago when I talked a lot about the Purito Centella toner, that type of gel-like bouncy texture, and that's what I love about this. Like, it has this, yeah, it's moving, but it's like a gel water. It's so interesting. It feels so nice on the skin, and it gives the skin such a beautiful, beautiful glow. There's nothing greasy about this, but it is very hydrating. And I do find that this toner makes a difference in my skincare routine. I have a lot of toners, so I rotate them and I go through them. And sometimes, like, I will stick to a particular toner for a while, maybe for a couple of weeks before changing it up, especially depending on what I'm dealing with. And every single time I brought this toner into my rotation, I've absolutely loved it. But that texture as well also makes it a little bit interesting because it's not like the traditional, more watery type toner. And at the same time, would I probably say that this could kind of remind you of a type of essence as well. And this is a toner that you can apply with a cotton pad, but I wouldn't really use it as a cotton pad. I just like to pour it into my hand, pat it into my skin, and then continue with the rest of my routine. Now, also from Numbuzin number 5, I'm mentioning this here, but this is not a product that I've used on my skin yet. I'm thinking that I wanted to give myself until the end of the year before I started like really bringing back fermented ingredients into my skincare routine, because I'm really, really happy with regards to how my skin is doing in terms of the seborrheic dermatitis and all of that. But I haven't tried this yet. However, this is a product that I've recommended to clients simply because there are people who I trust in the Korean beauty space who have told me how good this product is. And that's the Numbuzin number 5, their vitamin concentrated serum. And I'm mentioning it here, although I haven't tried it, because it's also a part of the line from Numbuzin. And a lot of people say combining this toner and that vitamin C is chef's kiss when it comes to like a morning brightening hyperpigmentation skincare routine. And that particular serum has glutathione, again, vitamin C, vitamin E. It has 4% tranexamic acid. It has 5% niacinamide. It has alpha-arbutin, and it also has coenzyme Q10. So you can see, like, in that one serum, there's a lot of things to target hyperpigmentation. Again, another reason why it is recommended to use it with the toner. So you do this, you do that, and then you do your sunscreen in the morning, and you're good to go really for uneven skin tone, blemishes, dark spots, etc. However, keep in mind that that particular vitamin C serum does have fermented ingredients. So if you know you're sensitive to fermented ingredients like I am, tread cautiously, tread cautiously. You may be hearing me constantly repeating like why I haven't been using products with fermented ingredients, because for me personally and for a lot of my clients, I have seen that fermented ingredients can exacerbate their malassezia situation or their seborrheic dermatitis. If that is not an issue for you, then great. You have to pay attention to your skin. A lot of times we say products don't work, but sometimes it's not necessarily that a product is not working. Maybe it is not for your skin at the point in time. Maybe it's a particular ingredient that you're probably allergic to, you have a sensitivity to, and all of these things you really need to keep in mind. The product might be working for everybody else, but it may not be right for your skin at this point in time. Bet your bottom dollar, I am going to be trying that vitamin C, and I cannot wait. Next brand is Some by Me. And you guys could probably guess what I'm going to talk about because I have spoken about this before. I've recommended it to so many of you all. And that's the Some by Me AHA 10% amino peeling ampoule. And this is what it looks like. And first of all, let me just say that this was a game changer for me because of everything that happened with my skin. And now when I started to deal with the whole acne situation again, yada, 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 this really came in handy. This was a little underdog type of product because I was hearing nobody in the Korean beauty space talking about this. And I think Some by Me is really doing themselves an injustice by not placing like mandelic acid somewhere on the label of this so that it kind of jumps out. Mandelic acid is not an ingredient, again, that you tend to find in a lot of Korean products. So when I was able to find a mandelic acid product at a 10% concentration, I was just like, what? Got it. Fell in love with it. I love the texture. It is very, very lightweight. And mandelic acid, for those of you who don't know, is one of the alpha hydroxy acids. But because it has such a larger molecule size, it is less sensitizing on the skin compared to, let's say, glycolic acid. But mandelic acid is really good for people with acne prone skin or people getting acne if you need to get that exfoliation part into your routine, because it not only helps to get rid of and slough off those dead skin cells, but it also helps with hyperpigmentation because it also has impacts on tyrosinase. And while the focus of this serum is mandelic acid, it also has a little bit of tea tree, it also has a little bit of cica. And if you look on the bottle, it will say AHA 10%, which is referring to the mandelic acid, but it will also say plus BHA, plus PHA, plus LHA. There is a little bit of salicylic acid here, and there are also some of those PHAs, etc. So this is such a fantastic exfoliant, but a fantastic exfoliant that it's not irritating at all. Like this product, I will say 2, 3, maximum 4 times per week, especially if you're rotating it with a retinoid, is going to be perfect in an acne routine at night. And this is what the texture is like. So you're going to see extremely runny, very, 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 very lightweight. This absorbs into the skin like water. There is like no feeling again on the skin once this absorbs. Like, look at that. It's not like leaving any kind of residue or anything like that on the skin. Really, really like this. And if you're going to use this, and let's say you're going to be combining this maybe with another serum, like a peptide serum or hyperpigmentation serum, apply this first and do those after. This next product, I didn't know if it should go in makeup or skincare. But I say I'll put it in skincare because it's a lip oil. And the next brand we're talking about is the Saem. And this is the Eco Soul Lip Oil. Again, another product that I reviewed before. I would put the link down below and somewhere up in the cards for the video. But I have like all now, all the flavors. So there's grapefruit. There is, what's the red one? Berry. And then this one is the honey. And I also have multiples because I have one in like every handbag. I have on my desk. I have in the car. I have an obsession with these. I absolutely love, 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 love this lip oil. Love it. And why I like it is because it's thick, but it's not gloopy and sticky at the same time. The hydration that this gives me lasts a good amount of time on the lips. And I don't know if you could kind of see it there. Like, yeah. So let me just do a swipe this way for you to see. So the thing about it is it's not a product that's going to be like moving around or shifting the way sometimes like a balm or even a gloss would move. It is there, substantial. If you touch your lips, yes, it's going to come off on a cup or something like that. But it stays like, and it stays a good amount of time. And I really, really like this formula. This doesn't irritate my lips at all, at all, at all. And I love all the different flavors. They're not like overwhelming or anything like that. I don't have a favorite. I even love the grapefruit one as well. I thought that maybe I wouldn't like it, but it's like a light citrus type of scent, and it doesn't linger on or have any weird taste in my mouth. Yeah, I just said I needed to put that in because I have been using these so much. All right, we have 2 more brands to go. And one of them has to be Tir Tir. You all know I'm on the Tir Tir bandwagon for more than one reason. Again, I've spoken about this ad nauseum, but we're going to put both in this video. And we're talking about the Tir Tir Build Skin Toner. This one is the original. This one is the light. My personal preference, although I have oily skin, is the original. I have told you guys why. It's because this functions for me as a moisturizer. It is fantastic for people who have malacea conditions, whether it's seborrheic dermatitis, fungal acne, any of those types of issues. This is a safe product for you. However, the light version, which came out after, was actually created for people who have combination oily skin, and the original version was really for people with dry, normal skin. Now, while both of these are like rice milky toners, there are a couple of differences, particularly with regards to the texture and the viscosity of the product, as well as the ingredients. Both of them has that rice bran extract. Like when I started to use this took me back to the days of the Am from rice toner that I loved a lot. They also both have ceramides, allantoin, panthenol, so everybody's going to get that. However, the light version, while milky, is a little bit more lightweight, and this one contains 4% niacinamide, whereas the original contains 2% niacinamide. The light version also contains a special ingredient, especially for people with oily skin, and that ingredient is called multi-X Bisasam. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but it is a combination of plant extracts that was developed, and those extracts are centella, green tea, chamomile, licorice, rosemary, skullcap, and Japanese nutweed. And it's said to not only help with moisture balance, which is very important in oily skin, but it controls excess sebum as well as reduces skin irritation. The original though has a more occlusive feeling on the skin. Like if you go to apply this the way you apply a regular toner or regular essence, you're going to be like, oh my goodness, I can't apply anything else. You're going to feel like that, because when I tell you this is moisturizer in a liquid form, it literally is. I will use 1 to 2 drops of this, and that covers me. So this one is focused more on very, very deep hydration and moisturization of the skin. It actually claims 24-hour hydration, and this one is also great for people who are looking to repair and heal their skin barrier. Whichever one you choose is really based on how you want to use it in your routine. What are your concerns? What you're going to combine it with? Because there are people with probably dry skin who may really like the light version because they want to get some of that rice bran extract, get some of that calming, but they do have other things that they're layering on their skin for that additional hydration. And then you have people like me, oily, probably the only one, but love this to death because it has really, really saved my skin. And finally, the last brand in this series is going to be VT Cosmetics. And I'm not going to be talking about the Real Shot. That obviously should be here, but I have done a dedicated video on why, as a licensed skincare consultant, I personally use Real Shot, and I went through all the drama with that. So I would highly recommend that you go take a look at that. But the product that I want to include here is the PDRN 100. And this is their PDRN Essence, their Phyto PDRN Panax Essence. We're going to talk about that. This is a premium product. Let me just start right there. Like if you're in the mature skin category and you've heard about PDRN, you've heard about the benefits of PDRN and why so many people in Korea are crazy about PDRN. Like PDRN are actually used in clinical settings. People actually go to get PDRN injected in their skin. They absolutely love it. It's a fantastic ingredient, but it's also pricey. So this is not like the cheapest Korean product that you're going to find. However, one of the things that makes this a little bit different is that VT says that this contains phyto-PDRN. Now, PDRN, as many of you may know by now, is like salmon sperm extract. So this they're actually saying is something that was developed from Korean ginseng. And we already know that Korean ginseng has a lot of great properties when it comes to skin elasticity and all of that. Very, very similar. So what they're saying is that this is a vegan alternative to the traditional formulas of PDRN that everybody's accustomed to in Korea. Now, I actually was reading up on the studies and so on that they have that they did with this particular ingredient. And they say that this contains low molecular weight vegan PDRN, which is extracted from wild ginseng to promote healthy, vitalized skin, enhancing skin firmness and reducing fine lines. And they do have some comparisons with this versus regular PDRN, and the results were very, very interesting. But besides the PDRN, this also contains some other interesting ingredients. It has a serosome complex, which is going to help strengthen your skin barrier, help to defend against the regular environmental aggressors, which is something that, especially when you're getting older, you need to be concerned about because the skin is not as resilient as it used to be. It also has panthenol, things like allantoin, squalane, and other ingredients to help refine skin texture, ensure that you get deep hydration and moisture in the skin, and really to promote cell regeneration, skin radiance, and really just give that supple look to the skin. I would absolutely agree that that is what that product does for me. I so enjoy this. I really, really enjoy this. Now, there's something interesting to note about this. They actually call this an essence, but it has a very dense texture. Again, almost kind of like a liquid moisturizer. And it is recommended that you hold the bottle horizontal and pump it out. Now, I'm going to just pump a little bit out because, again, I don't want to waste my time. But you would literally pump like maybe 1 or 2 pumps, and it comes out in this very creamy like texture. And this feels nice and thick on the skin. Like I don't use this in the essence step. So if you have dry skin, this may be great for you in the essence step, but I actually sometimes use this like to finish off my routine, meaning like after I've applied my other serums and so on, I will actually go in with this on top. Sometimes I will put moisturizer, sometimes I actually don't because it will cover me for that step as well. This product is said to be sensitive skin friendly, and it is also fragrance free, something that is becoming a little bit more important to a lot of people. Now, I was over the moon when I saw that VT came out with this product, because PDRN is one of those ingredients that my skin has loved over the years. I told you guys this before, and I had no hesitation to get it when I saw the product came out, because I really wanted to get that ingredient back in my routine. Interestingly enough, since VT just brought a lot of these things back to the fore, the spicules and the PDRN, there are a lot of Korean brands now releasing PDRN products, releasing spicule products. So within the next year, you're going to be seeing a lot of them. Like, I'm looking at all the releases and I'm like, oh my goodness, which next spicule product to try or which next PDRN product to try? But there are a lot out there. And these are like things that the Koreans would have been using in their skincare for a long time. And I think that VT took a big step by really going global with this, taking a lot of the licking, especially when it came to Riddle Shot. And now everybody is just like reaping all the benefits, because now the people who tried it like, oh, so spicules are not as bad as some people make it out to be, and they can actually be very helpful. But if you want to hear more about that, definitely check out the other video that I did. Guys, thank you so much if you stayed with me until the end of this series. I really appreciate it, and I'd love to hear if you've tried these products, or what were your favorite products from these brands that you've tried. I'd love to hear about it. Let me know what else you think I need to try. We still have some months in the air. I do have a lot of things on my desk, a lot of things to talk about in the upcoming months. But thank you again so much for watching. I hope that this video was helpful, and I hope that this series will help to narrow down some of your product choices. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions, any queries, any comments, any concerns, and I'll see you guys in the next video soon. Take care. Bye.